Hey there, history buffs. Today, we're diving into the world of ziggurats, the massive, terraced structures that dominated the skylines of ancient Mesopotamia. These weren't just buildings, they were the beating hearts of entire civilizations. So, buckle up as we embark on a journey through time to explore these incredible stairways to heaven. Picture this. It's 2100 BC in the land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. Bustling cities are rising from the desert, and at their center, colossal structures are reaching towards the sky. These are the Ziggurats, and they're about to change the course of human history. But what exactly is a ziggurat? Imagine a massive, multi-tiered pyramid with flat tops instead of pointy peaks. Each level is smaller than the one below, creating a series of terraces that spiral upwards. At the very top sits a temple, the Holy of Holies, where gods and mortals were believed to meet. Now you might be thinking, wait a minute, that sounds a bit like the pyramids of Egypt. While pyramids were primarily tombs, ziggurats were all about the living. They were the center of religious, political, and economic life in ancient Mesopotamian cities. Think of them as a combination of temple, palace, and marketplace all rolled into one epic structure. But why build something so massive and complex? Well, it all comes down to real estate, divine real estate that is. The ancient Mesopotamians believed their gods lived in the sky. By building these massive structures, they were literally creating a stairway to heaven. Priests would climb to the top to perform rituals, make offerings, and hopefully catch the ear of the gods. Now, let's talk construction. Building a ziggurat was no small feat, especially 4,000 years ago. These behemoths were made primarily of mud bricks, millions of them. The outer layers were often faced with fired bricks for added durability. And get this, many of these bricks were inscribed with the name of the king who ordered the ziggurat's construction. Talk about leaving your mark on history. But here's where it gets really wild. The ancient builders had to solve some serious engineering problems. 1. How do you keep a massive mud brick structure from collapsing under its own weight? 2. How do you protect it from the elements, especially in a region prone to heavy rains? Their solutions were ingenious. First, they built the ziggurat around a solid core of compressed mud brick. This distributed the weight and prevented collapse. Then, they incorporated an elaborate drainage system of sloping surfaces and channels to divert rainwater. Some ziggurats even had bitumen-coated bricks for waterproofing. Ancient waterproofing. How cool is that? Now, let's zoom in on one of the most famous ziggurats, the Great Ziggurat of Ur. Built around 2100 BC in what is now southern Iraq, this ziggurat was dedicated to the moon god Nana. It stood about 30 meters, 100 feet, high and had 3 main levels. At its base, it measured roughly 64 by 46 meters, 210 by 150 feet. That's about the size of a football field. But here's the kicker. What we see today is mostly a reconstruction. The original was heavily eroded over thousands of years. In the 1980s, Saddam Hussein ordered a partial reconstruction to boost tourism. Talk about a controversial renovation project. Now you might be wondering, what happened to all these ziggurats? Sadly, most ziggurats didn't survive the test of time. Made primarily of mud brick, they were vulnerable to erosion and deliberate destruction. Many were demolished by conquerors or repurposed for their materials. But their legacy lives on. The idea of a tiered, sacred structure influencing an entire city? That concept spread far and wide. From the step pyramids of ancient Egypt to the temple mountains of Southeast Asia, and even to the step pyramids of Mesoamerica, the influence of the ziggurat can be seen across the ancient world. But wait, there's more. The ziggurat's impact goes beyond architecture. These structures played a crucial role in the development of 1. Writing. Many of the earliest examples of cuneiform script were administrative records from Ziggurats. 2. Mathematics. The complex calculations needed for ziggurat construction pushed mathematical knowledge forward. 3. Astronomy. Priests used the high vantage points of ziggurats for celestial observations. In essence, ziggurats were more than just buildings, they were catalysts for human progress. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the Tower of Babel. You've probably heard the biblical story of a tower built to reach heaven, which God then destroyed. Many scholars believe this tale was inspired by the Ziggurats of Mesopotamia. While we can't prove this connection, it's a fascinating example of how these structures capture the human imagination. So what can we learn from the Ziggurats today? In many ways, we're still building our own ziggurats, massive structures that embody our values, beliefs, and aspirations. From soaring skyscrapers to grand cathedrals, the human desire to reach for the heavens continues. But perhaps the most important lesson is this: the ziggurats remind us of the incredible achievements possible when a society pools its resources and knowledge towards a common goal. They stand as testaments to human ingenuity, ambition, and the eternal quest to bridge the gap between earth and sky. So, the next time you see a step building or a towering skyscraper, take a moment to remember the ziggurats, the original stairways to heaven that helped launch human civilization to new heights. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And let me know in the comments, what ancient wonder should we explore next?